Hello, all of you, risk takers and truth seekers to Podcast Live, the battlefield. Today, we're going to talk about what means to be woman with the courage. That is the today theme of conversation. Today, I have a true opportunity and privilege to interview Ling Podetti. But behind this beautiful face, behind success in life and being a great mother and a partner, there's a more than eyes can meet. And I'm inviting all of you guys to go in the comment section below and feel free to check Ling Podetti, LinkedIn, her website, to find out more what we don't cover today. But one thing strikes me with Lynn, it's a courage. All of you alpha males, all of you killers, all of you big talks and mouths, today we're going to learn what the courage is. Lynn, welcome.
Thank you so much, Mario, for that wonderful introduction.
Look, I'm just very happy, very thrilled to have you today in the studio, right? And I need to say thank you to our common friend, Uma. She's Uma Punch. She helped us connect us. And as I said, now I have somebody in studio who has more balls than most of men I know. And I'm telling you, this is absolutely spot on. I've been involved. I saw the men. I saw the alpha males and everybody else, but he have more balls than most of the men. But now, I want to ask you questions straight away. I'm watching your social media, not as a stalker. No, I'm not. Maybe a professional one. You speaking about your life experiences. So let's go talk about courage. Where does the courage comes for you to speak about your problem with alcohol, broken hearts, business, and life events?
Yeah. I think it stemmed from growing up with such strict parents who really suppressed me, stopped me from doing anything in life, controlled in every way, that I had to fight. It was almost like I was in jail or I was at war within my family. And so from the age of 10, they made me work. I was almost like a child labor. And I said, this is not right. And I knew it wasn't right because my friends weren't working. Why am I working? And even when I had to, I worked every day after school from that age to throughout my teenage years. And I was suffering. I was crying. Sometimes I've sewed into my finger and yet my mum's like, move on, keep going. And it was a lot of pressure on me as if, well, hey, we are new migrants in Australia. You're going to have to help us work. That's just our life. Yes, I get what was happening, but it was still some sort of torture because it was like 7 days a week of work, no free time. And so I just felt like it's almost like I had to make a plan. How am I going to escape this, And I did at 14 years old. I made a plan in my head. I'm going to run away. I warned my mum. I said, if you keep – and at that time, Asian parents, they kind of love slapping you, hitting you whenever they –
That was normal when we growing up.
And so she just had this habit of just slapping me, hitting me. And I said, Mum, if you keep doing this, hurting me or making me work or not giving me a life, I'm going to run away. I was scared. I don't know where I'm going to go. I don't know how I'm going to survive. But I hated where I was from. But I would plant it in my head. I would plan how I was going to do this plan. Is almost like escaping from jail. Yeah. And one day I did. And when I did it, I built the courage. I did it.
How old you when you run away?
I was in high school, maybe 14 years old. I ran away.
Can you just...
15. I remember the reason is I did have a boyfriend.
Okay.
And so, that's why in my life I really relied a lot on friends and people out there. And they weren't necessarily good people either. One of the first boyfriends were not good, were on drugs. But they gave me a sense of freedom. It was like, don't listen, don't do... Because their life is just freedom, right? They do whatever they want. And so they said to me, this is crap, you shouldn't be living a life like this. So they embraced it and they helped me to have that courage. But I would say not knowing what the other side is going to be like is so scary. But once you just take that, step and then you kind of go on to the other side, I think from then on, I dared to do anything. I dared to talk back. I dared to do anything in life because I know that I could do scary things.
Scary things. See, that's what makes you unique, Lynn. And as I say, before I met you, as I said, again, Uma, she's, she put us in touch. But I said, I said to myself, that woman, she's very pretty. She's very successful. Life for her, not just me, everybody generally speaking, when sees this, beautiful face, success, everything else. Life must be easy for you. But it wasn't. that is perception people make about everybody, that judgment. Your life is good because you have all of these nice things. So what did you done next when you run away, 15 years old, and that is boyfriend, so-called boyfriend?
So I ran away. I made some negotiation. Hey, I'm only going to come home if you stop making me work too much, if you do all these things. But because I was underage, I really had no choice. They called the police, really, and then I had to go home. And things didn't really change. I still went back to working, and there was no love in the family. There was just a lot of kind of anger, like I remember if I needed to ask my dad, do you know where this thing is? He'll be like, you got eyes when you go look for it. It's just that kind of, and
you
then
remind my childhood. I'm going to make her cry. Seriously, where's my tissues, honestly?
But there was something funny about me, which I have no idea. And I think it's just God-given talent of faith. So I didn't believe in God, but I just felt in my heart that my life was better than this, that I was going to be successful. But something about me is really strange as well. I don't care about telling people. Like, I have no evidence. I don't know any uncles or aunties that are wealthy. I don't know anyone that's wealthy. I just knew in my heart that I knew I was going to be successful. And guess what? I dared to go my dream out loud and go, Mum, I can't wait till one day I'm going to be rich, all these things. And I will talk. And guess what? It used to make them so angry. They would be like, just stop dreaming, can you just be normal? Can you just because they don't believe it in their world, it's impossible. And there were moments when I used to fight with my dad that he'll be like, if you're ever going to get rich, I'll jump off this balcony and kill myself. That's how, almost the opposite to what a parent should do is, embracing the dream. They were so against me. And so I just wanted to paint the picture of our relationship. It wasn't just strict. It was suppressing the dream. It was trying to keep you down because I don't know, their fear that I would never get there because my dad even had a serious talk with me one day in the car. And at this time, I'm not rich either. I'm still just trying to be somewhere. He said, you know what, Lynn, I'm just going to give you this one piece of advice. It's almost like my last word. I've given up on you. This is my last word. And I said, what is it, Dad? And he says, in life, there are poor people and there's rich people. We're just not meant to be rich. That's just our destiny. So don't try. It was almost like, I want to rescue you from this journey that you're gonna waste time, running around in loops.
You're drowning yourself, right? I'm offering you my hand.
Yes.
Don't drown yourself.
Don't bother. I guess they were right in other areas, which is don't go out with this guy. This guy's not good for you. He's going to ruin your life. I should have listened to that part, but because there's so many things that they said that were so doesn't make any sense. I'm like, but you're not the rich person. How come there's other rich people? How do you know that answer? It didn't make any logic. It's because they made so many silly, illogical advice that then I also didn't take any of their other good advice, about, of course, they're older. They probably know about people who are on drugs, people who are doing all these things aren't going to be good for you. But I no longer credit them anymore. It's the same as anything in life. Once you ruin your reputation, no matter what you say, no one's going to believe you anymore if you've ruined that. And so that's kind of
you're very openly speaking about your upbringing. It reminds me of my childhood, but today is not about me, it's about you. But may I just go a little bit back? I have 2 questions. You have your kids now, right? Do you make your kids to work as your parents did to you?
No, I don't, and that's a balance.
Why not?
I can't. And that's the challenge in as a parent, where it's you want to not give them the life that they had, but you also want to give them a lesson that I've learned, and that's the balance. So how I do it, it's not about the working, but it's about the communication relationship. So the other day, so I have a cleaner and she usually cleans 5 days a week. And she went on holidays for 6 months. She went back to her country, and I decided, you know what, I know how to clean. I'm just going to clean for 6 months because I can't be bothered hiring someone. So I would go, hey kids, I really would love for your help, because they know what our life is like when we have help.
Interesting. Come on, give us some more.
And I said, look, I would love for your help. We all, Mummy's going to have to clean. Can you help me? And they were there to help me. You don't need to treat your kids in a way where it's like torture. You have to. It's collaboration, understanding, and they helped me so good. I was like, wow, they clean even better than a cleaner. I think sometimes when you have a cleaner, they set the standard, so they kind of know what clean is. And I was amazed at my 8-year-old son, how he cleaned his room. It was hotel quality. But
You make me ashamed of. I learned in the military how to make the bed, but now
I
your
guess
son
reverse
is
what I was saying
Yeah.
is that my goal as a mum is how do I teach them lessons without torture. I do that by also when they don't get all the money in the world, they don't have many toys. We don't just buy toys. I would go, no, you don't need that. You don't need it. So I don't buy toys. I buy experiences. I take them on holidays a lot. And when they get pocket money, that's their money. And it means that if they want to buy something, it's like, you go and pay for it. I don't know. And they don't get it. They kind of go, hang on, our house is way bigger than, other people. We seem like we have money, but how come you're so strict in that? Like they would say, you're so strict. But at the same time, because I'm so nice in many other ways, there's something about it that they just respect. They're like, why do you have to be strict in here for? But they don't kind of fight about it. And why I know I'm doing the right thing is I actually had a talk with them last week or 2 weeks ago when we were going for a walk. I said, what do you think of me as a parent? How do you feel? And they said the things that I was hoping they would say, which is like, I love that you're nice to us, but yet you're strict at sometimes. And you taught us how to be kind and not be so greedy. It was just things that I think I'm trying to do for them. And they're liking the lessons.
The fun thing is about you. I want to just share this with you before you see this video. And I'm hoping you're going to appreciate this. When you talk about your kids, there's a spark in your eyes. You know what I mean? There's something that magical. And that's why I say, like, as a parent, I know when people say to me, when you talk about Mateo, it's just Mateo. I can say like, yeah, he's my wall, but I want to punch him now because, 21 years old, he's like, I know everything. But I still like, but when I see in your eyes, so my question is, did you ever explain your kids how your parents were towards you, or maybe you never told them?
Oh, yeah. They know probably not all the detail, but even they find it really challenging being with my mum because she still has that quality in her. So she'll be like, because when they're there on a holiday, they're like, Grandma forced me to eat this. Grandma did this to me, And I was like, Mum, like, you got to tone down.
Like,
of course, like, she is like 100 times less than, but she's still quite strict compared to, I have a Italian nonna, Italian grandmother, completely different. It's like, well, would you like to eat? Would you like this? So gentle. So they love being there. With my mum, it's like, it's the grandma. They have to be there, but they can see it.
But experience now the both worlds, you know what I mean? So let's go move now. You say something, if you were dreaming, right? You know what I mean? And I think dreaming is the best part of everything. I'll tell you something about myself. I know the moments when I was the most hurt mentally in a war, I will do that dreaming, and people tell me, Mario, or the boss, or, you know what I mean? It's like, what are you doing? It's like, one day I'm going to do this. And, everything's shelling around us, everything's dying. And I'm like, one day I'm going to do this. And people used to laugh behind my back. They couldn't do my face. When you told your parents you're dreaming, okay, parents has their perception, but what do you think? Would people laugh to you today if you say, I'm dreaming one day to become very successful, I don't know, in rock climbing? What do you think?
They believe me now, so they don't go against me now. So like 2 or 3 years ago, I just came up with the idea that I wanted to be an actor. And that I was...
Okay, let's go put this in the question, actor, okay?
And I realized that, I look up to Oprah. I started to fall in love with, performance on videos and things. So I just thought, acting is quite cool, interesting, and maybe I can be one. And it's probably because I accidentally, landed a job on so I have a Disney ad that I was featured in. I didn't intend to.
Okay.
And so when I was in that commercial, I thought, this is fun. This is like, you get to play, but when you're acting, it's quite playful. You feel like you're a kid again. And so I had it in my head that, maybe I'll be an actor. The best thing about it was that when I told my dad, hey, Dad, like I was in Melbourne, hey, Dad, I'm studying acting and because I want to be an actor. Yeah. He didn't say anything, which is good. Okay. Yeah, because normally he's like, who do you think you are? The way he was is like, as if you're going to succeed, you know? Yeah. He just smirked and didn't say anything. And to me, that was my success. That's me knowing that my parents do believe in me now. And they know dreams do come true because they've seen it.
I'm glad you said that sentence, dreams come true. Now, let's go move to trials and tribulations. Okay, enough of the parents' abuse. And you quite often speak about events in your life. And, as I say, That was professional stalking, you know what I mean, on a LinkedIn. But yesterday, I almost cried when I saw your video. No, honestly. And I said this at the beginning, it's very difficult, it's very challenging for anybody to give me something that's going to make me emotionally unstable. Your video, yes, did, because I can see some correlation in my life. And you spoke about broken hearts, then another video was alcoholism. I'd like you explain to us your trials and tribulations in life. So from the Ling, running from home, boyfriend, dreaming, jumping, these things. What happened to you from age 15 till you don't, let's just say, last few years? Why you are become that type of person?
Yeah. So now looking back, I know what happened. It was lack of love from home, so I was seeking love from elsewhere. I didn't know myself. I was hurt, and so I was out there trying to figure out who's going to love me. There was a period of time when I was a teenager, I was evil. What I mean is I wanted guys to like me because I didn't feel like my parents loved me. I wanted them to fight over me, to love me. And then I would just kind of like, done, almost throw them away as rubbish. Like, I don't like you, I'll just jump to the next person. I had no conscience even. I was like, like love is just love and you're just a guy or whatever. And I was just out there to fulfill my own cup. And so that's why I look back, I go, in a way, it's like I deserve all the things that happened because I wasn't that great of a person. I got into a lot of fights. Like, I mean, I was a teenage girl growing up. There was a lot of, bullying and everything. I would get into punch-ons, like ready to go, fight.
Yourself?
Yeah. So people, I'm always
look so
in
cute
fight.
and you're like so lovable on your website, guys. Ling Podetti.
This is back.
She's like, okay, so please.
Yeah, so as a teenager, there was, lots of fighting with other people, and it's always me trying to stand up for myself. It's like, when you get bullied at home or hurt, you just kind of take it out to the world. So I'm hurting people around. Then dating the bad guys was my way of seeking freedom, almost like, there's a thing where they say it's like daddy issue where your dad's not treating you well at home. So somehow you're kind of meeting people that treat you in a way bad, and you like that kind of coldness about them. When you don't like it, but you just attracted to that. So a lot of the relationships were kind of either emotionally cold or they're just into themselves or into their own drug world or whatever. And so that was bad. I mean, I started drinking from the age of 15, 16 and just drank. That's why I said I've spent 25 years of drinking, really. Yeah. Started really early. There was a period of even taking drugs. I feel like God's given me a chance to taste every challenges in the world because I can actually talk from experience. I ended up also having bulimia,
weight loss.
Weight loss, like as in body image problem, because when I was growing up as only like a kid, people with Vietnamese or Asian in general, they're very straight to your face. They'll tell you if you're fat or you're skinny or you're whatever. They said to me, when you grow up, you're going to be fat like your mum. And as a kid...
Oh, my God. Really?
Yeah. And I look back and I'm like, I was never actually fat. I was just not malnutrition like most of the Asian kids. But you know how damaging it is to a child? I just believed that I was fat and I was scared. But the more you're scared, the more you're like living around food. And so... one day I developed bulimia. I didn't even know there was a word for it. I just found a way to shortcut of eating and vomiting. When I told my mum, I said, I found a shortcut. You can eat all you like and just throw up. She said, what a waste of my food.
Oh, my God.
Because we were oblivious to all those things. And so I had to learn for many years to also overcome food addiction in a sense or weight loss addiction. And then so, love life was trouble. I ended up dating, having a kid and then in a way breaking up. And I would say, nowadays when I'm in my 30s, I see people marrying, divorcing. It's like I experienced all of that when I was younger.
Do you think it's by design that you needed to do this? Go through all these experiences?
Yep. And I was an atheist. I didn't believe in God. Anything that people say, the challenges that people go through, like weight loss or love life or no money or like, I'm not spiritual. I don't believe in anything. I am all that. And then if I could change and go through it, anything is possible. And that's why I love, there's a video that I made about being a single mum and how I got through it. So many single mums from all walks of life, from Africa through to Australia, America. Like it's the video has gone up to thousands and thousands of views, and it's like 2-3 years old.
Yeah.
But so many people are inspired and touched by that because, oh my God, you're a single mum like me. You gave me hope, and that's why I fell in love with doing YouTube, because it's not because of the views or the for business anymore. It's really like, if I die tomorrow, I want to leave my legacy. I want to just leave all the information and just to help as many people.
I try to understand one thing. I'm not sure. We never spoke before like you and I right now. But I can't escape the feeling that you copy my modus operandi of the life. Like literally, like, you said to me, you dated all these bad guys. Okay, I didn't date bad guys, but I was hanging with the bad guys.
Yeah.
So I end up in juvenile as age 12 and a half because I stabbed the guy with screwdriver twice because all the guys told me to do these things. So like I was searching for love with them, and I explained these things. Now talking about podcasting, I said to myself, the podcasting, it's a way to leave a legacy. Now you saying these things.
We are so similar.
I really wish the people hear your story even more and further. But to come to that a little bit later, let's go back to that it's being single mom, right? And you say with a smile on your face, I was drinking, I was single mom, and like something I think this is gonna be out of across the universe. You'll let the guys to fight over you, right? Anyway, can you just, to all single mothers out there, what was your biggest regret being a single mom, and what do you think the single moms doing the biggest mistake?
My son is 20 years old at the moment. Yeah. And then I was like, oh, wow, you're 20, you finished high school and your life is great now. Yeah. And then I just had this hit I was like, oh my God, at this age, I just gave birth to you. Okay. And you know what he said to me? He goes, I don't know why you're so silly. Yeah. So even though he's on earth right now, even he feels like I made a silly mistake of having a kid because I guess, having a child so young is very, very hard. Like if I had another daughter now, I do have a daughter and she's in the same position as I was, I would have said no, number one, don't date bad people, don't have a kid. But it did happen, and I have no regret of the outcome. But the journey was really hard. And I just think my dad is right in some sense that there is some sort of God's plan, but we don't know it. And I was just destined to have a kid early. I don't know. Like I felt like I've always loved kids, and I'm always seeking freedom, and just the way my environment was, it really made me make those decisions. Like freedom meant more than anything. Yeah. So if it means dating this bad guy and following his stupid advice to have kids, I'm going to do it. And then I love kids anyway, and I probably would, if I didn't have a kid then, maybe I'll have a kid a little bit earlier then too. But one thing I would say to single mums, and in my video that I always mention, is that just because it happened doesn't mean that's it. It means you can still have everything that everyone else has. So when people go to me, also, they almost think that once I'm a single mum, it's like the next person I meet is the only guy I've ever dated. I'm like, no, I had a life like everyone else. I was a single mum, then I dated lots of people, and then I found the one I wanted to marry. I still went to school. I still had a job.
You didn't find him. He found you on YouTube.
He found me.
He found me. He was talking.
He did.
So I got this one a little bit later. But so when you're single mother, I think that's very difficult. I think, there's not many single dads, I'll say this, right? But single mothers, I think it's a lot of them. This is a simple reason because we men, we are biggest bullshit artists. And I'm telling you this right now because I'm surrounded with a man. And I always been brought up as I told you, I was hanging with the bad guys. When the war broke out back my home, then Yugoslavia, my country, Croatia, all these rough and tough guys, the whole mummies, aunties, and they run away. Wow. Honestly, that's the nature of the war. That's the beast of the war. So everybody who stayed was an average Joe like me, right? I'm like, wow, I have nowhere to go because my parents dumped me. My parents left me night in the eve of the war. My parents left me like I was sleeping. They left me a message in the morning. So, but being single mother takes some more courage, takes some more how to say, resilience than any other guy. Oh, look at me, babe. Oh, my muscles I'm died. It's a bullshit. I'm telling you right now, I'm the man.
Yeah.
I am the man. And if anybody says to me on this planet that man is a hunter, is the biggest bullshit artist. Because a woman eventually says yes or no. Am I wrong?
Yeah, I love that.
And I mean, that's the fact. You know what I mean, like it's not us. You know what I mean, and you said guys are fighting. You know, I always fight as well with the girls, with everybody, but I couldn't get there. But being the single mom must be a difficult situation.
Very.
So, wake up call. What's happened to you?
I remember being 20, I don't even know how to handle a kid and not ready for the midnight, waking up many times. And, you know, I still feel really emotional. I remember just tapping him away, letting him sleep.
Yeah.
And not just that, I was in and out of home. So I was like sometimes with my mum, going back to my ex, and it was just, it was very challenging. I would cry. And I guess it's not that just that. It's then going into other relationships. So you have a boyfriend and you have another boyfriend, and then those relationships suck, you know. So it's not just you have a kid to deal with. It's also you're still figuring yourself out and getting yourself into more trouble. And I started going clubbing a lot, drinking, taking drugs, doing lots of things. And so I've added a lot of more pressure into you can be a single mum and just know what you're doing and go to work and take care of your child. That's one pressure. But imagine having to do that plus being a teenager, in a sense. I was still growing up and still doing all these things to myself. That was really, really challenging. But I have no regret because that's why I feel like so at peace now. I feel like what I've learned about life is that everyone will face challenges. Either you're looking for it or it will come to you, because God cares more about who you are as a person and building your character while you're temporarily living in this world for ready when you die, whether you go to heaven or hell. And so you will never escape trouble, because trouble was meant to help you grow. And what I've learned is that I took initiative. I was proactive in my life. So I went for all the challenges, and that's why I did it all. You know what? I could tell you now, for the last decade, I had no trouble, to be honest. I just feel like everything just goes my way. Everything is fine. But it's because I've found my attitude's different. I'm so grateful. I live life in the best way. It's like almost God's. It's not that I don't have any more challenge. The challenge I choose now are just good challenges. It's almost like I want to try bungee jumping. I'm going to do bungee jumping. I want to grow my business. I'm going to hire more people. And you do that. But they're not challenges where it's like drama, traumatic things that are happening. It's because I feel like I went through all that early. I have friends people used to look at my life and go, "You're so stupid. Why would you use your life as a dummy?" You know? And so they live their life in the most safe way, avoid trouble, listen to your parent, don't do anything. But life gets them in a different way later. It's, I can't have a kid. I, got dumped. Yeah. Someone cheated on me horribly. And the experience I went through is just as traumatic. It's still something you got to grow, Yes. And it's because God wants you to humble yourself. I love your humble hustle. It's like, you are not free from all the trouble because his goal for you is to grow and to learn. And so eventually you will get there. You do it early. Some people do it in their teens. People are going through war. They have to experience that in their teens. And then, or in their 20s. But people who delay all that trouble and just try to live a perfect life will get you at 50, 60. It's probably, I don't know which way you want to experience it.
I'm just listening to you, and I was like, for some reason, this conversation, it just continues to bring me back into my childhood. Everything what you're saying is similar expression, but about God and faith, that's something I want to ask you a question about God, but before that, I would just want to share a story with you. So I grew up in very different country, Roman Catholic, Croatia, 99.9%. It's ethnic clean, Croatians church. And I was becoming the altar boy when I was 7, 8 years old. And then went in the war, and there was all about this God and who is better, Orthodox or the Croats and all Roman Catholics. And I start questioning, whose God's side it is. But one thing I say like that, we are all the product of our decisions. I think everything what we do, it's a product of our own actions and our own decisions. As you say, you can be single mom and, working on yourself and your kid, or you can be single mom and doing, yahoo, you know what I mean? Like, let's go party, like, go crazy. I will say that you're absolutely right, because I can say that I blame you 10 years ago, even I didn't know you, for all my mistakes. And I will say to God, really, I mean, like, and then I need to realize that actually God was always there next to me in a war. You know, people used to be praying. I saw the guys, you know what I mean? They're all silent, like smoking, like drinking or something, but the eyes in the dark, you know, they're like crystals, you know what I mean? And you can see they're afraid, you know, but they're praying, and not all survive. But one thing it is, I realized God is there. If you really want to feel the God and God playing for you, it's there. Again, it's about you today, Lynn. And I want you explain with your own words. Why God? If I can be abrupt, you display nothing else than the courage. And I want every woman today, guys, I want you to take these notes from Lynn. You shared your life, your upbringing, childhood, you know, the drugs, the alcohol, the boyfriends, everything else. But you are every time adding the God and faith. So what did happen to you?
Yeah.
And you said you were atheist, right?
Yeah. So 2010, I remember I was after a really bad relationship where I was really in love with this guy, and it was the first time I felt like my heart was broken. So all the other years, you know, it's always me breaking up, or blaming them. I was always in the playing the victim.
Yeah.
And then it was the first time I surrendered. I said, I can't do this anymore. Because you know what happens? It's when you think you've got everything under control, you think you control everything, like it's up to you how life works.
I like it's what's
That's
coming.
how.
Yeah.
That's why your life never goes to plan.
Yeah.
But it was the first time I remember just like feel hopeless. Like, you know what? I don't know everything anymore. Maybe it's me that's the problem. You know, when you humble yourself and actually go, okay, all those relationships didn't work. Like, but the whole time, the consistency or the common denominator was me. I was in there. And so I kind of work up to that, but in a sense where it's like, I really want to be helped. You know, when you, even as a friend, if a friend comes out and go, please really help me, people will come and help. But when a friend doesn't really want help, you know, when they're like, I'll be all right, it's fine. It's fine. They don't get help, nor will they ever change. And it was my turning point where I was like, I need help and I can't do it on my own. And that was when it's not like God came to me and all of a sudden I saw him. It was that things changed. Like in a sense, I was open to changing myself, and I got, you know, I stumbled across life coaching and I studied that. And then I learned about Tony Robbins and Oprah, and I've never heard of them before. I don't know. I mean, I knew Oprah, but I didn't understand their teaching. Never heard of Tony Robbins.
Yes.
So then I got into personal development, and I was just a good student. I was like surrendered. I just needed to do whatever you tell me to do. And so in that year was when I followed the law of attraction and writing down my dream list. And I manifested my husband randomly. Remember I told you he found me? Yeah. And everything because that was my first time learning that you can not just dream in your head, but it's like vision boards and write your dream as if it's already happened. I followed all that. And then it happened. When it happened, I said, oh, my God, there's a God out there, because I asked for these things. Yeah. And so that was my journey to spirituality, meaning like life isn't just this table and chair and logic, whatever you see. Yeah. There's something subconsciously happening. And so I started delving into, you know, our mindset, and Esther Hicks, who were talking a lot about spirituality. Yes. And, you know, trusting things like so it's not, I haven't stumbled across Christianity yet, even though I went to Catholic schools all my life. I never believed in it. I said that sounds like a story, a legend. I don't believe it ever happened. I never believed in that. I never believed in that. But so this is the first time just exposing to the universe or whatever spiritual is out there. And so then for the next 10 years, I would say my life was a lot better, meaning I was in control, meaning like I knew how to ask for things. I knew how to be a good person. I follow the law of the universe, things like karma and, you know, give, so then the universe will give you back. So they're all kind of new age philosophy, and they all work. They're all good, but there was still something missing. I felt like, what with all this prosperity? So what with all these dreams that I'm getting? Was missing? I don't know. It was something missing. I just felt spiritually hungry. So I would buy more books and it would say the same thing. It's like manifest all these dreams, dream. However, one day, you know, when your heart is seeking something popped up. And so it was just before COVID, I remember I came across a video, a pastor from America, Hungry Generation, is a pastor. He's really good because his videos, he talks about, he's like a Tony Robbins, except that he'll add in verses from the Bible. So whatever he was explaining, I got it. He wasn't a priest that talked, about the Bible.
Yes.
He was sharing a point of view, and then he kind of referenced the Bible, and I was like, oh my God, maybe there's something in the Bible. Maybe there's something in the teaching because how come it sounds so similar to all the personal development thing? Yeah. And so I got myself to church and I went to Hillsong, Balcombe Hills, really close here. And because it was the only one that I know that it's a bit more fun. I didn't know anything about church. I don't have any Christianity in my family. Got there, I cried. Tears were rolling down. I just found it. I found it. Whatever I was missing, this is what's missing. It's the people that get what I'm seeing, the spirituality. And then all the teachings that I'm hearing, it started to make sense. I started to go, this is right. Every word of the Bible no longer sounded like a legend. It sounded like truth.
I love how you say, doesn't sound like a legend.
Yeah, it doesn't sound like, one of those good stories, that to help you become good people.
Yes.
So that's most people, and that's why I get it. When people say, I don't believe in Jesus, I don't believe in that, I get it. I was that. Yeah. I believe in myself. I get it. I used to say that too. Yeah. And so I just hope that through my journey and through sharing that people, maybe God's using me as that bridge between the world and, the people who don't believe in God and know that they think that they can do life without God, to see that my life changed and I'm happy, I'm at peace, and that this is my journey. Can
I relate this to something what you said at the beginning, dreaming? So now if majority of people listening to you right now are going to say oh my God, she sounds like, whatever, talking about God and everything else, they will laugh to you. Because they've done this to me as well. But one thing I can confirm, and I said this from my point of view, maybe the God doesn't manifesting in the way people wanted to see it. But I do remember 2019, my son has a big brain surgery to remove epilepsy. Anyway, hospital, it's a morbid situation. I mean, like you see your own child, he doesn't waking up for the last 4 days, all these things, from the brain coming out. And you don't know if he's going to be healthy with or without epilepsy, but there's a lot of kids that are coming and they don't wake up, right? And, the priest comes and everything else. And I remember one father comes to me, he says to me, I prayed to the God, for the very first time for my son. I said to him, and how's work? He said, I don't know, but why my son doesn't being helped? And I said to him, listen, I'm praying all my life, for my son health, but it's still not healthy. I mean, so you can't just expect him. What I say, people are expecting miracles when they need them, But between now and I need miracle or whatever, I need a help, assistance, there's nothing. There's emptiness. It's a laugh. Right. It's a shame on you, shame on me, who you think you are. What I like about you is that you are actually, through your life example, show the audience and, you demonstrated that it's possible to turn negative into positive. That's what my movie, The Ghost Rider with what's it calling? Nicolas Cage. Did you watch that one?
No, it sounds like it sounds familiar.
The Ghost Rider is like he sold his soul to the devil, and then he was trying to learn to convert the negative to positive. Anyway, but you did it, and I truly believe that there's a reason why you had that part in your life. I truly believe that you needed to face all these odds, and I'm walking to the minefield without a flashlight. Really, I really admire for that one. So let's go talk now about stalker number one, right? So the God give you everything. His name is Mr. Podetti. So let's be. So things start developing good for you, right? And then the man of your dreams eventually comes. So I feel sorry for him because, with how it's hearing how your life was. So he found you on YouTube. So tell us more about this one. He said, hi, I'm Mr. Podetti.
So it was really interesting. It's so random because he's from Sydney, I'm from Melbourne, and I literally only made 2 videos. I wasn't not a YouTuber. I literally just made 2 videos because I knew that I started a business. I need to get myself out. And I'm always courageous, try to do new things. But video was still hard for me, right? And I did 2 and I stopped. But that only to video. He came across it because even though he has a manufacturing company, at that time he was hearing about online business and making money passively online. And so he thought maybe he can build a website with a friend and do something as a side hustle. And so he Google search website, something online, something, and he came across my video. And he watched the video. Maybe he watched it on replay, I don't think. And then and then he said to his friend that this is his story. He's told his friend, he goes, I think I'm going to marry this girl. And he showed him the video. He said, I'm going to marry this girl. So he also has some conviction. And mind you, prior to that day, he told his dad, so he's 35 at this time, been in lots of relationship. He said to his dad a few weeks before, he's like, Dad, I don't think I'm going to get married. All the girls are so complicated. You know, I've gone on dates and it's just can't find the one. So he's giving up. Yeah. And boom, he saw that video.
Okay, explain to me now this. Yeah. Explain to me right now this. You manifested something and then he appears out of nowhere on 2 videos, right? So how to explain this? You think it's a God?
Oh, yeah, 100%. Because I prior to meeting him, I was dating bad guys because my criteria of a guy is cute and looks like a bad boy, really, and really didn't have any criteria. And then when I learned things from Tony Robbins, writing down your dream list and all that, I told myself, don't date the guys you used to date. You know, change the style. And I wanted someone ambitious. I wanted someone kind, someone that was. You know, and I think without past experience, you wouldn't know what to ask for too. So I was very clear about family oriented. And he also suggests to say, what don't you want as well, like deal breakers. Okay. And so the guy before that was very jealous. So I said, this guy has to be like not jealous at all, you know, because that's an important thing.
It is, yeah.
But it's not that when I met him, I'm like, oh my God, that's you. I actually thought he wasn't my type because subconsciously I was still going for that type. Yeah. So when I saw him for the first time, I went, oh, this guy's too nice. Oh, nice people are too boring.
I need to convert him into the big bad boy.
I did convert him by getting the hairdresser to shave his head. So he's had shaved head ever since. I was obsessed with Prison Break and, the actor there. But, you know, you don't trust yourself. Sometimes you got to really challenge yourself because quickly I judge. I said, he's a nice guy. I'll get bored because back then I used to get bored with nice guys. But then I think it helped that he was from Sydney and I was from Melbourne because after I saw him, I was like, nah, not my type. But when I flew home, I started to miss him. And because he was kind of really sweet. Like when I was there, he was saying things like, he was kind of expressing his future with me, like getting married, having kids. I'm like, okay.
Did you say like, okay?
Right. Yeah, I was. But I was like, you know, when you have time to kind of reflect and you're like, this is what I'm asking for. This is what I want. I think this is it. Yeah. This is the one. And so I think the distance did help, just giving that space. Yes. And then we got married 8 months later.
8 months later.
Yeah,
that's a beautiful
really
story.
Quick.
But in the meantime, you opened your business, right? You know what I mean?
Yeah, so I had a business. I already started a business. It was online, so I was doing marketing agency, so I could kind of work anywhere. Yeah. So I was already wanting to move away from Melbourne. Before I met him, I said,
thank God you did it. This is another one.
Yeah.
It's like
no, so I booked my flight to America for 2 months.
Oh, okay.
I needed away. I needed a new life. And so it was a no-brainer for us to make the decision for me to move to Sydney instead of him moving to Melbourne because I needed this escape. Yeah. I think it was good because I stayed away from all the partying, reduced my partying, spent a lot of time just raising a family, and I didn't get back into really partying until, you know, after the kids kind of
yeah. That's it, you know, like so tell me the one thing, when you start your business, any fears around starting business?
Oh, 100%, like everyone else.
Show us what was your biggest obstacle when you started your own business?
I have no business mentors. I have no examples. So I was just trial and erroring. I quit my job, started a business, don't even know what to start. And I took on the first opportunity, which was a nail polish business. Okay. I have no idea. Anything I'm doing, I have no idea. I just do it. And how to get clients, how to, you know, set up your website, how to get marketing. It's just you know, you think business is easy by selling and, you know, or you set up a website and people will find you. It's not like that. It's just you'll discover it's not working.
You know what? You know, like think about you. Like I always arguing in your life when I see people being sold all these dreams and BS online. You know, particularly when I see that type of commercial or something online, particularly some girl in bikini in a pool, you know, with a cocktail on the edge of the pool with a laptop. I'm making $5,000 per hour. It's like, man, the only way you can make $5,000 per hour, like I know how,
but once a year.
Yeah, I like, and a laptop next to the pool, because if I know that my provider he's doing for me next to the pool, I'll say to him, listen, enjoy your lifestyle, but I'm not, my business not to be next to the pool. So let's go try to wind up this, you know, because I am aware of your time, and I'm truly privileged and blessed I have you here today. Seriously, because this interview has been in making for so long, and that's like it was meant to happen today. And it's happening right now because it's like I think that people needs some light in the darkness. I don't say that people are bad generally. I think that people are living different lives than before the 2020 and need something to give them that hope, to give them that guidance. And your life experience is truly nothing short than excitement, right? I think Netflix should come to us. So like, you know, and then like I can see it starting in Vietnam, somewhere in Hanoi, and all the raining at night. It's like your mom gave the birth, that your dad says like, she's gonna be in trouble. Yeah. How important gratitude it is in your life for you or for anybody else?
Attitude?
Gratitude.
Oh, gratitude. Oh,
I apologize, gratitude.
That was the turning point for me. I was a single mom, broke, and Oprah said, every day, write down your 3 grateful things. That was the first time I ever heard about gratitude, really. And I remember struggling, like, everything's going really bad, but all right, I'm going to trust the process. And I just wrote it down, and I would write, I'm grateful I have a son. I'm grateful he's healthy. I'm grateful. There was just so many things. So every day from that day onward, I was journaling, I was writing down, and it really shaped my life. And I totally believe that if you're grateful, it's like if someone gives you a gift and you're like, yeah, whatever. Yes. Who is going to give you another gift anymore, right?
Yes.
And so God blesses you when you're grateful. So I'm grateful for all these little things. So things keep coming my way. And I never take for granted anything. I think that's why my philosophy in life is about you becoming successful and rich, but never really forget your root and forget where you come from, you know. And then it's about helping others because, you know, when I was growing up, my parents made me feel as if rich people are like over there and they should be treated better and different, you know. And some people do live a life like that. They live a life of, I'm rich, I can be arrogant, you are all, you know, lower than me. And I'm so against that, and I want it to be that example that, okay, I don't know how to get rich there, but when I get there, I want to show you what a kind rich person looks like.
Yes.
And being grateful makes you kind, makes you happy. You know, there's nothing to complain about. At the end of the day, you're still breathing and living. Yes. And it's such a easy and simple hack for your mental, you know, attitude where you're just like, I don't really have a bad day.
Yes.
You know, ever since I learned how to be grateful. Yeah. And so my husband always says to me, I should never ask you for your opinion. You're always positive. Every single food that
since when that's good. Sorry, since when that's bad to be positive. But so, you know, I think that we all surrounded with the negativity or positivity. We choose negativity. Like I can see around me, doesn't matter. My son is 21 years old, and now he's working in the morning. You know, some days need to do this hospital thing, you know, working whatever with the doctors and blah blah. But then he's watching the news and he said, "Oh my God, everything's so bad." I said, "Matteo, just turn off TV." Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
These people are day after day saying that all these things and find something positive. He said, "Like what? You're always optimistic." You know what I mean? It cannot be that good. That's like, well, I choose to be good.
Why not? Why would you want to be miserable?
He doesn't, you know, because he don't believe it. So let me ask you another one. Do you have any routine? How you keep yourself healthy, happy, wise, motivated, positive?
Yeah, I love routine.
Apart from your husband robbing the banks, that's okay.
I love routine.
Yes, tell me.
So I wake up at 3 a.m.
Sorry, come again.
3 a.m.
Like in the morning, like when it's dark. You okay?
Yeah, I wake up at 3 a.m. It's also something I fine-tune over the years. I started up doing 5, and then 4. Now I love 3 a.m. I won't wake up any earlier than that. Like, I think that's it. 3 a.m. is good.
I'm going to bed, Trace.
I've just found my own hack of happiness. So I sleep on time, 9 p.m. I have to go to sleep. I always have at least 6 hours sleep. So if last night I came home late because I went to an event, I pushed the alarm forward to 4 a.m.
Yeah.
But I love the morning routine because when I don't wake up that early, I just don't have time to like work on my, like I journal. I like to think about what were my achievements yesterday? What do I want to pray for? What's happening? When you can actually take count of what's going on in your life, you will find happiness, because you get overwhelmed busy is because you haven't even thought through, like, what did you achieve? What are the happy things that you did? I even track my kindness actions that I do. And you need time for that.
That's my second question. Okay, please continue.
And so I need time for that. And so the time for the mental kind of priming is what Tony would say. And then I do all that. Then I realized when I was waking up early that I was so smart in the morning, that I became addicted to it. So, I always do like my social media writing posts and stuff. It's almost therapy. Yeah, therapeutical. I love it now the more I write, but in the morning it just comes out, like all my thoughts comes out. And any big problems that I want to solve, I can solve it in the morning. And that's why I'm addicted to waking up early. And then by 6 or 7 a.m., I already felt like I've already achieved so much that I can make time for exercise. So I work out every single day because I have time for it, because I've gained so many hours in the day. And so during the day, I've been able to scale myself out of the business, the day-to-day running as well. So during the day, I'm out networking, making videos, going out, traveling, doing things that I love.
You know who does this? There's one very successful person I'm really admiring, Mark Wahlberg. Wahlberg goes in bed at 8 p.m. He wakes up 2 a.m. and he does an
he's
exercise.
a Christian too, right?
He's a big Christian. He's a big Christian. And it's like, okay, that's unusual. Like, look, there's a ways we need to adjust ourselves. We adjust life to ourselves, because people usually let them adjust themselves towards the life, which is no good thing, But that's like, if you wake up 3 o'clock in the morning and that's your prime, this is how your creativity comes out. So that's what the people need to understand, that we all have the different approaches to the life, right? And that's what makes you very unique, Lynn. That's why you are successful, smiling today. You said, my life was this, and then tomorrow it's your 40th birthday. Happy birthday.
Thank you.
You achieved so much, you lost a lot, but you gained it. And you said something very important. Most of the people are at age 40 regretting life. My father, he was a 50-year-old man, I never forget. And he couldn't wait to die. And literally, and he died at age 59, but, he was like happy he got the cancer, right? And when I was asking, he said, why, a few days before he died, he said, like, I accomplished nothing. I said, I had nothing all my life. It's nothing. And, I hate your mother as well. Plus, it's like, okay, that's with you. But this is what I would like to people learn from you, that there's obstacles in life, they're going to teach us the lesson. And as I say, my experience, I blame you. I blame even Uma punching, like 10 years ago. Everybody was fault for my downfalls. But when you accept that it's you, common denominator, as you said, that's what makes you happy. Look, Lynn, I just want to say thank you very much for being my guest today on A Life the Battlefield. Hopefully going to see you soon again. I'm really wishing you all the best in your endeavors, in you and your family. And thank you for sharing honest conversation with me today, because it takes courage. Courage is not just a word. Courage is an action. And that's when they're missing the courage, it's problem. And you display today for many of us. So thank you very much.
Thank you so much for having me. It was such a wonderful conversation, and there's a lot of things I shared that I don't think I've shared in other places before.
I really appreciate it. Thank you, Lynn, so much. Thank you.
Thank you.